touch anything.
Congrats on not screwing up Star Wars. I think that there is going to be a lot of younger fans that are going to, this is going to be their first Star Wars and they're going to have a blast.
Yeah, great.
You know, so I got a whole bunch of questions and I'm going to try not to get you in trouble, only a little.
Okay.
There's a lot of debate between fans on if Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back is better. Which film do you rank as the number one?
No, now I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I can't. Someone asked me that, and I said Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's not the right answer.
Exactly.
That's just
that's
wrong.
why I'm in trouble.
Right.
Empire for me. I like down endings, so I'll always like that one the most.
Sure. The debate for me is because without Star Wars, there's no Empire, but Empire is just such an amazing film.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so when does Skeleton Crew take place on the Star Wars timeline?
Post Return of the Jedi.
Is there like an amount of year? Because there's been a lot of conjecture online as to
yes. I mean, we definitely had an idea going into it. I think because maybe of learning what it's like having kid actors who age up, we might have some wiggle room in terms of if we do more, how it's going to all connect better.
Yeah, slotting it in exactly.
That's like the behind the scenes answer. So it's a little bit of, we're not exactly revealing that yet.
Yeah, there's no moment where it ties in exactly where we can say. So
it's just after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
How much freedom did you have with Lucasfilm and whoever, Disney, in terms of designing the planet they're from and all the little things that are in this that could lead to bigger things?
That's the crazy thing is we felt like we had like total freedom. Like, because Favreau and Filoni are our producers, and they're like this giant sort of safety net underneath us. And we just sort of went and did kind of exactly what we wanted to do.
We would like push the boundaries, and if we were going too far, they would.
Yeah, they'd be
wait,
like,
wait,
maybe
think
not
about
this,
this,
maybe
consider this.
But everything is safe because it's
yeah.
going through Lucasfilm design team. Like you pitch things to Doug Chang, and then his team pitches you back like 10 versions of your idea that are like the most perfect, incredible like execution of what's in your head possible. So you're just picking from like a list of great options.
Well, as the show continues, the planet they're from is going to become more of a thing. And I'm just curious. It seems like that's something that could, you know.
Yeah, there's so many things on the show that
become like a real housing development in Florida.
There's like so many potential repercussions from things that happen in the show that it's just kind of, you make something and then, you know, there's other things being made, and like the way they could intersect is kind of, that's an open question.
What was something that you each fought for that you were like, this has to be in the show, and someone else was pushing back and you're like, no, this has to be in the show?
Not necessarily pushing back, but I really wanted to make sure that hologram in season 1 was there.
In episode 1.
In episode 1, yeah, the hologram that everyone is, that Neil's brothers and sisters are watching. That one I was pretty insistent on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just, you know, for me it was, we create our own little piece of new like lore about these like the planet kind of category that the kids adamant comes from, like the jewels of the Republic, of the old Republic. So that was like really interesting to get to kind of make up a new little piece.
Yeah, make up a little piece of history.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I wanted to be able to do that because we could have not done that, but I felt like it. What I love in Star Wars is there's always a little bit more than you know about. There's always like, oh, well, you'll learn about this thing, but that's only one piece of a larger piece.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I don't know that we ever had anything that was like dramatically pushed back on.
No, I mean, that's the crazy thing about this whole project was like working with the team we were working with. We were so like protected and
you feel very
and,
safe.
Yeah, because
with
you
the
know
team we had.
because Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau having themselves made Star Wars, Disney Plus Star Wars shows, now be like, overseeing us being our mentors in this. They knew all the pitfalls and they knew what we were going through more than if they had just been producers from the start. They hadn't been making their own show. It was perfect.
Exactly.
Who was the one who said, I want to make sure I say this, the Teak from Ewoks, The Battle of Endor is now canon. So who is the one who said we need to make this happen?
That's a really good, because that's the thing where
you wanted the Teak, and then I made him look kind of like really rough because he's like the teaks are really fluffy.
The teak we know from Battle of Endor is well taken care of.
Yeah, and this is more like a
Brimley.
teak that's like fallen on hard times. So he's like a lot skinnier and like a lot of his fur is fallen out. So he's kind of like
What, was it one of you that came up with it? Like, we need to do this?
I wonder because we talked a lot about and we had pulled other like references to the Ewok Adventures.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was from someone on Doug Chiang's team.
It might have been pitched back from Doug Chiang.
Like just look at this piece of art. And we're like, whoa, yes.
The thing that we both definitely wanted to make sure we did though was that he moved fast. Like that and trying to do that in a way that doesn't look old and weird and dated was a challenge. It was like, here it is moving at the actual speed of the teaks.
We looked at a lot of options
and then it's
of
like,
how fast it could move.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be like X-Men speed.
It has to just be like fast enough that it feels referential.
Yeah.
Are there any Easter eggs or other creatures that audiences should be looking out for?
I mean, everyone figured out the fuzzball from Captain
trailer.
EO in the trailer. Yeah, I think there's quite a few things that are.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that they'll go in the archive, and if we're looking for, say, like a big monstrous alien, and there's like, I don't know if it was, literally like old Dagobah rejected or unused sketches for different creatures, but like that's in there.
Yeah, some of the ships are Easter eggs. If you look
Oh
closely
my
in the
God!
background.
Yes, there's a lot of parked ships.
Yeah.
So looking deep. Oh yeah, that's a really good
In what
one.
episode should people be looking for this?
You see that in the second episode, right? That's where you have
2 and 3.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, I know. It's I don't want to say it for people that haven't seen it yet. How much did you guys debate the opening text and the opening shot and what you were going to do? Because it's like iconic Star Wars, what you guys are,
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure when you think of what those words are going to be. We had a lot of drafts.
We went through different options. One of the options was a song. We tried it.
Yeah, almost like a opening with a pirate shanty. Didn't work. Didn't do that. But yeah,
It's in there somewhere. You can hear it in the background.
it's all about distilling down that text to be exactly what you need to set the story up, but not too much, and have the right language so that it feels like it fits in.
Well, but the opening shot specifically is you're in outer space. It's a minor spoiler. You're in outer space. A ship is coming by. I'm like, oh, he's nodding to Star Wars. And then there's a nod to Star Wars at the beginning when they're coming into the ship, and there's a masked individual who is like have troops, and I'm like, oh, they're doing a hard nod.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a feeling of like, yes, this is Star Wars, because after that, then we go to the world of the kids, which is, this very sort of calm, more peaceful place.
And for me too, having those parallels with the opening of Star Wars, as you call it, really highlighted how the pirates are different.
Yeah.
Which is what we wanted to call out.
Yeah, because it's sort of a combination between opening of New Hope and then like pirate movies from the 30s.
Sure.
So we wanted to sort of mash those two things together, create a real sense of danger out in the galaxy, and then jump to this very sort of quiet world of the kids.
Like especially people who are coming in thinking like, oh, this is, I heard this is maybe like a kid's show.
Yeah, we wanted to start off letting people know that it's not.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like as you said, the beginning is very much episode 4 until it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
And then until it takes a left turn.
Yeah.
And then you're like, anyway, so there's 8 episodes. Which is your favorite and why?
Ooh. I mean,
Are you gonna?
I'm not going to just say my episodes that I direct.
Which ones did you direct, actually?
First and last.
I wasn't sure if you did 2.
Yeah, I did the beginning and end.
Got it.
Take the plane off and land the plane.
For me, I would say the last one just because
It all comes together.
that one for us was like the hardest to write.
Yeah, the third act of any story is always the hardest when all the threads have to come together. Yeah. I really like episode 6 that Bryce directed. It's a really just emotional story between the kids, and it's really beautiful. And that's the one where we have some stop motion animation. So like I like that one too.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the runtimes. The first one is like, I can't remember, 50 minutes?
I don't even know what the runtimes are now. Like we've been working on it for so long.
Well,
the first
one's a little
first
bit
one's longer.
Yeah.
Second one's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that
Third
was
one's like
higher.
46 or something.
Yeah.
So how does it go with 4 through 8? Like, is the finale a longer one?
Finale's long. Yeah, it's working in TV, in streaming like this is great. Because it's just as long or as short as you want it to be. You know, there was no requirements. We just made the story be
Well,
the
there was
right
a requirement,
pace.
but we didn't listen to it.
Oh, there was a requirement. Yeah, but we didn't do it.
I think it actually ended up being fine.
We were fine.
Well, but like because episode 2 is 30, but episode 3 is longer. So what about 4 through 8? Are they mostly 30 minutes? Are they? And how long is the finale? Is it an hour? Is it 50? Is it 45?
It's like 45.
It's not an hour.
It's not an hour. It's not a full hour.
Yeah, this episode 2 is the shortest one.
Yeah.
That's the most breezy.
Yeah. Everything's like 35, 40, right?
Around 40.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think fans are going to say after they see the finale?
Hopefully they're going to say, wow, we want to see more
What happens
adventures
next?
with the skeleton crew. Yeah.
But I mean...
There are some pretty big potential like repercussions for the larger galaxy after
I'm really interested
last
to see like
episode.
the discussion and like how people interpret what happened and what they think would happen next.
Yeah.
And interpreting stuff about the characters and what they
No, I don't want. What's funny is I don't want anything spoiled. I want to see it. But I am curious what people are going to think.
Yeah.
So
we are too, because there's something like when you have a really well-educated and like mythology versed fan base like Star Wars does, you take a couple of big swings and you really kind of want to see how people interpret it. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what people think about what we did.
So this show has definitely a Goonies vibe. Goonies famously never got a sequel. So it's the only negative. So my question though is like, talk a little bit about what the discussions have been like behind the scenes now that Disney and Lucasfilm have seen the show, know what you were going for. I mean, like, it's a long runway to make a show like this.
Yeah.
So how much have you guys been working on scripts or ideas in case, Favreau and Filoni are like, let's do more?
Yeah, we 100% have an idea for a second season and know what we would do.
And it's built into it that it would be a bigger time jump forward because it does take so long to get things moving. Like, this isn't like it would take place the next day because the kids are going to be...
Yeah, we have a built-in ticking clock of the kids and their age. And by the time we would get production going, we'd know what age they would be. So we would be writing towards that.
Oh, we'd
be growing up with the kids.
Yeah, so to basically be clear, if you were to make a second season, it would be like 3 years later.
Yeah, it'd have to be
lines.
something like that to make sense with.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the kids in a while, so it just depends on how tall the kids are. But we wouldn't do like a Stranger Things thing where we'd be like, it's the next day, because it won't.
That would be stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's so many kind of repercussions. It's like you kind of want to catch up later. I think that's the difference between the Goonies and this, because the end of the Goonies is they did it.
Yeah.
They saved their town. They got the treasure. It's good. I guess the fact there was no sequel meant that their lives were just good.
Yeah.
Therefore boring.
Yeah, that was fun.
I love the Goonies, and every time I see like Brolin or whoever, I'm always pitching Goonies 2, Goonies Never Die. Goonies 2, like I've come up with a million ideas. They just need to do it.
Yeah.
They should maybe wait till they're all old.
Just wait.
It's like one of those like group of old people movies.
Like Cocoon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what everyone wants to see.
Goonies meets Cocoon.
Man,
Grumpy old Goonies.
I could go off on a tangent on this for so long. Did you end up with a lot of deleted scenes?
No.
Not a lot, but some.
There's some good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's really nice about the process we got to work on it is in the end we wanted to tighten things. We wanted every episode to be jam packed. So sometimes that meant like losing pieces here or there that just made the episodes better.
Yeah.
And we love those moments, but
yeah, there's nothing that you look back on and think, oh man, I wish that was in there. Like everything that's not in there is not in there because it made the episode better.
With Disney Plus, I've always wondered why they don't put more extras. They've recently been doing it. Do you think any of that stuff will end up on Disney Plus, or are you like, let's just no?
I don't know.
I think it'd be interesting. It's just it just creates a weird like outside canon version of things.
That's what I mean.
Like I would never want it to be like the director's cut that's like longer and worse than the official version.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's anything that we cut that is like would dramatically change the story, but now I'm more of a fan of like you have the amount of time to finish the thing you're working on, and what you finish is the director's cut.
Sure. Which shot or sequence of the 8 episodes ended up being the real, like, the toughest one to pull off? And if you can't say what the sequence is, maybe you can say the episode number.
Toughest to pull off, I think, tonally, there's a couple moments in episode 7 that Lee Isaac Chung directed that he executed it beautifully. It's just for us on like writing and show running side of it, like making sure the tone was balanced.
Because when you have kind of funny things and then serious things.
Yeah, walking that tightrope. That was.
But he was such. I'm so glad he directed that one because he had the ability to.
Yeah, he could really straddle those two worlds. But yeah, 107 starts to get really intense.
How much have you guys been reading what people are predicting about the show, like Jude Law's character? How much have you been laughing, and how much have you been like, oh, that's a little close?
I love reading all of it.
Yeah, I mean, the earlier stuff they didn't really have anything to go off of was pretty off base. And it'd be like, that would be a good idea for a show. It just doesn't happen to be what we made.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to set up the expectation that there's going to be some like giant character cameos that happen. This is definitely more of its own self-contained story. So people hoping for, I don't want people to be disappointed when those things don't happen. But sometimes, I like reading, Reddit theories because it happened a couple of times on Spider-Man where, there'd be a million different fan theories of what it could be, and then every once in a while someone will be exactly right.
Though they're out
and you're like, hey.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Well, if you keep guessing, you're eventually going to guess.
Yes, exactly.
There's only so many choices.
I don't think we've seen anyone that have guessed it yet.
No, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Because there's a few more components in there that...
How much have you designed, thought about, Bibled, if you will, the planet that they're from and its implication in the larger galaxy?
I would say we've done, we built that planet from the inside out.
Yeah,
so there's
the history of it and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just matters for the story.
Sure, but it also could matter for future things, too.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how much I can say until people have seen the
and that's
episodes.
the weirdest part is sometimes we would be asking Dave Filoni or asking people, does this exist? Does this exist? Can we do this? And they would say, well, it exists now. If you want to,
if you put it in the show, it does. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of it's a lot of weight to carry.
Because I'm about out of time, I'm going to ask you an individual question.
Yeah.
What's the status of a Wolf's sequel? Have you figured out how, you know what I mean? Because people are wondering, a big hit on Apple.
Yeah.
And part 2 is, do you know what you're directing next?
I don't know what I'm directing next. And I don't think there's going to be a Wolf sequel, probably.
Oh, is it?
Well.
What about a prequel?
Who knows? I haven't sort of worked anything out yet.
Got it. Okay, because I know you did a first look deal with Disney.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what that means and if there's any other IP that you're like, I would love to play with that.
There's a lot of fun things at Disney. Yeah, it's a pretty big toy box to be digging around through, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it there. He's obviously not going to tell me. Hey, listen, congrats on this, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you after I've seen episode 8.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So I can do a finale chat.
I can't wait for you to see how it comes together.
I am looking forward to it. On that note,
cool.
You guys have a great day.